Hello and welcome to Larissa's Kitchen. We're starting in with our holiday baking, and first up is one of my very favorite candies, nut Rocha. You may also know it as almond Rocha or toffee or even Heath. We'll be boiling sugar at very high temperatures, so this is unfortunately not a kid-friendly recipe. But let's see what we're going to need. Our nut Rocha is made in 3 layers. We have the Rocha layer, the chocolate layer, and the nut layer. We're actually starting with the nuts by toasting these on the stove in a dry skillet. Once those are toasted, we can set them aside and start in on the Rocha layer. All of these ingredients are of course listed right here, as well as the full recipe and instruction in the description box below. So let's get over to the stove and start cooking. We toast nuts in a dry pan over medium-high heat. We need to stir these every few seconds. We really can't let them sit still, and we definitely don't want them to burn. If you can flip them, you'll get them all turned at once. Once you can hear them start to pop, you need to move them a little more frequently. They will burn very quickly. Okay, these are pretty close to done. That all told was about 5 or 6 minutes. This pan will stay hot for a couple more minutes, so you just need to be careful. We don't want them overdone. We're just lining this with non-stick aluminum foil. And remember that the matte side is the non-stick side. If you don't do this, you will never get the Rocha out of this pan. I'm melting this butter over medium-high heat. Once it's all melted, we'll add in the rest of our ingredients and bring it to a boil. We're going to bring this to a boil and then clip the candy thermometer onto it. And we're going to adjust the temperature because we want a nice even rolling boil across the top. If it's too vigorous, it'll burn the bottom before it heats the rest of the toffee up all the way. We need to stir this continuously until all this sugar dissolves and pretty much until it starts boiling, which it looks like it's going to do pretty soon. Okay, this is boiling. We're going to stick this in here and carefully put this clip down and back. This is very hot. Once this starts boiling, we'll adjust the temperature here. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit so it doesn't boil so hard. And then we're going to stir it maybe once every 3 or 4 minutes. We don't want to stir it too often, but we don't want to let it go or we'll end up with burn spots on the bottom. This is going to take somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes to get up to 290 degrees, but you cannot walk away from it. We are just approaching 280. As soon as this reaches 290, we'll get this in the pan. Okay, let's get this on the pan, and the last 10 degrees goes very quickly. We don't want to just pour this all in the middle. It'll be impossible to spread evenly. And I'm using a little offset spatula to even this out. We need to let this firm up just a tiny bit so these chocolate chips don't sink in. So we're going to set the timer for 10 minutes. Now that our 10 minutes is up, we can put our milk chocolate chips on top. We're going to let them sit in their chip form for about 5 minutes. They'll be completely melted. We'll be able to smooth this, and then we'll add the nuts to the top of that. This pan is still very hot, so be careful. Okay, we just want these to be in one layer so they melt evenly. Okay, you can see that most of these are shiny, which means they're melted. They'll melt completely as we smooth this over. Now we do need this to cover the entire top. And don't stop until they are all melted. All right, now we can add the nuts. And we're going to cover the entire surface. Carefully shake this around. Okay, and then we're just going to press these down in. We need to let this cool completely. And one of the reasons I like making this in the winter time is I can just cover this loosely and put it outside on the deck. If it's not cold outside for you, it'll need to go in the refrigerator for just a couple of hours. Now that this Rocha is cold and the chocolate is set, we can break it into pieces. It's time to give this nut Rocha a taste, and I know it's delicious because I won a dessert contest with it. Perfect. We're so glad you stopped by our kitchen. If you enjoyed this video, give the like button a click, and don't forget to leave a comment. We're always happy to hear from you. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and don't keep us a secret. Share our videos with your friends and family, and keep up with us on Twitter and Facebook for upcoming videos and the random cat picture.